Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Cheifs Latest, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. This is your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Welcome in. Happy Monday. I know it's weird being at this point of the NFL season and we're not dissecting some Chiefs football, but hey, that does not mean that the offseason is going to be boring. That's right, there's a lot to look forward to, including a running back that might want to come to Kansas City because he's currently not happy with his situation. We're going to dive into that topic plus some others, but before we do, you guys know the drill. That's right, we are continuously growing here at Cheifs Latest, and if you're not a part of this family or this journey, what are you doing? But hey, listen, it's all right. You can redeem yourself right here. That's right. It just takes 5 seconds. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and also turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Chiefs Latest, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding this team. So listen, all you got to do, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs, they might lock in Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love with that 9th overall pick, but what if they pass on him and they turn to free agency instead? Well, Carolina's Rico Dowdle is a name worth watching. Now, he recently mentioned that his reduced workload late in the season is going to factor into his free agency decision, as he's looking for a spot where he gets the bulk of the carries. He wants to be the lead back. Now, our run game numbers this year, they were rough. We know that. Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, they combined for 1,073 yards on 281 attempts. That's just 3.8 yards per carry. Now, with one or both of them likely moving on, Dowell would step into a prime chance to become the lead back that he's obviously seeking right now. He played a big role in Carolina's playoff push, even if touches dropped in the final stretch as they lean on Hubbard more down that road. Now, still, he finished strong. 1,076 rushing yards at 4.6 per carry, plus 39 catches for 297 yards and 7 total touchdowns. His versatility, his consistent production as a runner, it stands out, especially at a reasonable price. At the age of 27, Dowell shouldn't command big money. On SpotRack, he projects around $6.5 million per year on his next deal. That's well under $8 million. He already hit 1,000 yards last year in Dallas, so there's reason to think that maybe he hasn't peaked yet. Pairing him with Jeremiah Love, if he was drafted, that could work. But going pass rusher at 9 opens the door to maybe a more free agency route, and Dowell as the veteran anchor in the backfield, that becomes more possible if they can't get someone like Breece Hall. Now, Dowell offers good production, receiving skills, and just every down potential at a reasonable cost. He could be a perfect bridge or lead back if the Chiefs skip the running back position early in the draft. We need to ease Mahomes' load. We need to balance the offense. Just a smart, practical addition if the price stays right. But again, you're probably going to try to search for that, Breece Hall, or you're just going to try to get Jeremiah Love in the draft anyways. Well, Friday brought out another name to the list of Andy Reid's staff drawing interest elsewhere, as defensive line coach Joe Cullen interviewed for the defensive coordinator job with the Washington Commanders. Now, coming from Spag's system, the Commanders, they're clearly looking in the right tree for help with their struggling front. Now, Cullen played a big role in developing 2022 first-rounder George Karlaftis while getting solid production from Charles Omenihu, who had 7 sacks in 11 games back in 2023, and Tershawn Warren with 6.5 sacks in 2024. Washington's 42 sacks last season, that was decent, good for 14th in the NFL, but they struggled to sustain that pressure. Their 19.6% rate, it ranked 26th league-wide. Now, if Cullen leaves, it would wipe out the entire D-line leadership group, as assistant Alex Whittingham, he already got hired away to coach linebackers at Michigan. So more changes could be on the way here, but it feels like the Chiefs are bracing for a new offensive coordinator and likely several new positional coaches or assistants. So that's something we're going to keep our eyes on here. Again, we're expecting Nagy to not come back here to the Chiefs, but now we're getting other names that also might not be returning here next season. Well, football playoffs are not only here, but they have already provided fireworks with an exciting wild card weekend. Now, knowing this, Underdog is the best place to get in on all the gridiron action. Playing on Underdog, it's easy. Just pick if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Now, looking tonight on Underdog, we end wildcard weekend with the Houston Texans versus Pittsburgh Steelers game, and I'm selecting Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers for lower than 204.5 passing yards, and Texans wide receiver Nico Collins for higher than 4.5 receptions. So, what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code FOOTBALLFAN to score $75 and bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code FOOTBALLFAN. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Again, shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring today's video and last week's videos. Well, sitting at number 9 overall, Veach is facing a long list of needs, with long-term concerns lingering at running back, edge rusher, wide receiver, offensive tackle, interior defensive line, cornerback, safety. I could probably go on and on. Now, we keep circling back to running back or pass rusher, early in the draft, but the offensive line, that remains a major worry as well, as Mahomes tore his ACL and he had 3 undrafted free agents starting in front of him when that happened. Yeah, we need some depth here. Now, right tackle, it's still unsettled as well. Jawan Taylor might get cut for cap reasons. Jalen Moore, he looked better on the left than the right, so you got to deal with that. And protecting Mahomes has to be priority one as he recovers from that major knee injury, while also giving the run game a real boost. That's something else we need with this line. Not only do you need to protect Mahomes, you got to get something going in the run game. So enter Utah offensive tackle Spencer Fano, a loose, fluid athlete who's often pulled in the run game and chases blocks well downfield. Smooth kick step, rarely gets beaten around the edge, and his athleticism helps him recover balance quickly. Polished pass protector with over 300 pure pass sets in college. That's non-RPO, and he holds up strong. In the run game, he's a weapon. Great movement skills, contact balance, a high motor that keeps him going. Needs to add some weight and some strength for the NFL level, but he fits the mold with a long frame and arms. Pass protection, it can't be a question mark here. You need him reliable on the outside, shielding Mahomes. So, Fano offers a polished athletic tackle profile that addresses an O-line that needs reliable depth to provide smooth protection for Mahomes and, again, provide run game movement. I feel like we're not talking about that enough. Yes, we need to protect Mahomes. That is number one. But again, we've had these issues with the run game. Let's make sure our offensive line is ready to go. And we've talked about wide receiver being a major concern heading into the draft, especially with the uncertainty right now around Rashee Rice. So we've covered Cornell Tate, Jordan Tyson, but let's add USC's Mekhi Lemon to the conversation as a potential target. At 5'11" and 190 pounds, Lemon brings lightning-quick acceleration off the line and a sharp feel for zone coverage. He consistently finds soft spots between levels and gives a dependable target in traffic. Now, he's not the tallest guy, but he's dense and strong for his frame, creating yards after contact pretty regularly and showing toughness in the middle of the field. He does the gritty work in short and intermediate areas. And he's fearless between the hashes. Again, that's something I really like about this kid. Fights through contact for every yard and plays bigger than his measurement suggests. That's why this should be or could be a decent option to look at. Now, injury history, it's also a plus. He stayed healthy throughout college. Now, the catch, though, of course, this all sounds great. Now, the catch is his limited catch radius. Shorter arms making contested grabs tough against, those long NFL corners that you might go up against. Still, though, entering this season, he ranked third among returning Power 4 receivers in yards per route run at 3.03. His receiving grade stood out on deep routes, 91.25%, and medium routes, 90.41%, with solid hands overall, 87.83%. So Lemon offers quickness, toughness, and reliable production in traffic. Strong, deep, medium grades make him a potential chain mover and a separator. We need that. Now, yes, size could limit him in some contested situations, but his durability, his after-catch fight, it fits a need for some dependable wide receiver depth. Kind of a dog, if you will. And that's what this wide receiver group might need. That spark, that dog. Just get him going, wanting it a little more. Well, that is all that I have for you guys on this Monday. Let's have a great start to the week, everyone. I know we can do it. Again, shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring today's video. Also, what would you think about Rico Dowd joining this running back room? Would you like that, or would you rather have like a Breece Hall or Jeremiah Love? Also, how early should we go? Maybe after a potential offensive lineman or wide receiver in your eyes? Let me know in the comments. Once again, I'm your host, Calvin Silvers. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and also turn on those notifications. You are listening to Cheifs Latest, and until next time, have a good one.